Newbee has just tied the series up for our first one of the LPL Split 2 with EDG, and the MVP is going to be more. Largely for the back end of that game, which honestly, yeah, makes sense, right?
Yeah, I 100% agree with this. I was, for sure, it was going to be Dade with his KDA.
I like that he looks a bit perplexed as well.
He's like, I got it? Are you sure? No, Moore showed up huge. Obviously had a really rough start of the game. I think was sitting like 1-7 for a portion there. But
caught
came
out of
back,
position all over the place as well.
But came back with 2 to 3 game-changing tempered fates, catching EDG out in choke points, locking down multiple key members, and allowing Newbee to get these beautiful engagements.
And then the Cosmic Binding straight afterwards as well. Just fantastic play. And look, this pillar coming up from V. V has been a player that, I mean, the laning phase in game number 1 was fantastic. V has looked really good moving into this split. This is all about Dade as well, able to clean up everything.
Yeah, Dade had a great game. Really happy to see him kind of go back to that assassin play. Not that he can't play the control mages like Victor, but I mean, Kassadin's so strong. I really want to see him to pull it. I have a big question mark on Zed about where he fits in the meta, how strong he really is.
I think everyone does, right?
And I would love to see Dade just pull it out in game 3.
Well, look, we can all dream about the Dade Zed, but not entirely sure whether it's going to happen. This is actually one of the questions that I wanted to raise with you as well, is like, where all these mid laners really fit. We're expecting Kassadin to come back, especially when we're looking at things like the LPL, because we've got a lot of Kassadin players here, especially with everyone's sort of obsession as far as, you know, picks into the Victor are concerned. Victor now being strong again, Kassadin obviously going to make a resurgence once again in the LPL. But what are the other sort of options here? Because we've had a lot of mage changes, things like that, and sort of Scout and Dade, I mean, Dade, of course, a legacy player. Twisted Fate, like what are another few of his picks that he could be taking back?
So kind of the big issue and the big kind of golden chicken on the table is that Azir is still probably the S tier mid lane pick. So the counterplay to Azir is that he can't run teleport as comfortably as other mid laners, but effectively you're looking at Victor, Azir, and Ryze for me is kind of sitting your top 3 mid laners. Twisted Fate has some flex play in there, but the other kind of pick that I think a lot of people have forgotten about is Ahri, because Ahri players will always be Ahri players, and like a lot of Victor and Kassadin players in the LPL, we have a lot of proficient legacy Ahri players. Obviously, anytime she goes into a matchup, it's going to be a skill-based matchup, so I'm kind of waiting. I expect OMG will probably return to Ahri, but I want to see the Zed. Don't think we're going to see Ryze anytime soon, and I would like to see a repeated Azir ban from the previous game for Game 3.
Yeah, and you mentioned Ahri for OMG. That is not Cool, who was, of course, the legacy Ahri player, but Icon, ridiculous player on any assassin that you give him, and, of course, managed to level 1 kill Pawn solo, I believe, Ahri versus Lulu back in split number 1, if my memory serves. We are into champion select here as Nidalee and Trundle going to be banned away on the side of EDG. I like the Trundle ban a lot, as Ryze and Azir once again hit the bench on the side of Newbee. It was EDG that banned away the Ryze the last time, but of course just seems to be that red side ban just because he's so strong. One of those S-tier mage picks that we didn't mention because he literally just spends all of his time on the bench.
Exactly. Doubt that we'll get to see him much as Rapid Star leading EDG through their draft. Final ban.
Interesting. Bans away the Maokai as well as the Trundle.
Mouse, we weren't happy with that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they're going to do as far as that first pick is concerned and what their thought process is for what they're going to pick.
I feel like with Maokai and Trundle both banned away, the priority pick has to go to Ekko, so I would think that Newbee would ban it here.
And then the Kindred goes through.
Exactly, but that said...
whoa, okay, Caitlyn, they're going for a trade.
So leaving the Kindred available to Swift. So now the decision-making comes, do we deny Swift the Kindred, which is yes, or do we prioritize the Ekko, which is the last standing really strong top laner left?
Yeah, and V, of course, can go towards that if he wants to. We'll give V the, Mouse the counter-pick opportunity, but how many counter-picks to Ekko exist?
Effectively, you're looking at, I'm not going to call it a counter-pick, but I'm going to say Poppy. So we do have...
seem to be what happens.
Yeah, we do have this discussion about, you know, who's the premier, you know, if we talk about the S-tier mid laners, who's S-tier in terms of the top lane. I still think that Ekko is comfortably sitting up there. Poppy, I think, has moved down a little bit, but you can never put a price on her ultimate. The fact that a well-placed Poppy ultimate can eject members from a team fight, that's I mean, effectively, that ultimate could be worth 15,000 gold. If you eject the 15,000 gold carry from that team fight...
That's completely massive. As Lucian 3 games in a row there for Happy, so he's going to be able to lock that one away. Now Deft has to change up his option as far as that AD carry position, but I have a feeling Meiko can snap away the Bard if he wants to. His Bard has looked beautiful, but Alistar once again is going to slip through, this time without the Caitlyn being necessarily what they're playing towards. The Cow has made his way back in. So Victor and Alistar locked away for EDG, and already these 3 champions very, very strong in their respective roles.
And this offers a lot of safety to Mor. So now that you see the Alistar, you can go back to the Braum because you're melee versus melee support, or he could go back to the Bard and he could completely dominate that lane with the range advantage as well as being next to Lucian. So right now we have Newbee hovering this idea of we're going to go 2v2 and we're going to put you in the ground.
Well, they are hovering the Bard, so you're exactly right. It does seem to be a consideration for now. Dade as well. Having a lot of thought. Rek'Sai could possibly be that option. We'll see how it does go into the Kindred. Something like an Elise is what I was expecting to see a little bit more play here on 6.10. Swift has been known to play these early ganking style junglers quite well. But the Rek'Sai we saw in game number 1 in the hands of Clearlove was beautiful. Was banned away in game number 2 and now once again poking her head out.
See, I agree. I thought that Elise was going to also be a much higher priority jungle, especially over her success that we saw at MSI. But I think it's this idea of going back to kind of control.
Yeah.
That with Nidalee and Kindred out, it's wanting to control your jungle. You still have a very insanely fast clear speed. Are you excited because of Twitch or Kog'Maw?
Yeah, no, I just love Twitch Kindred.
But
because how do you stop him from rat-a-tat-tatting?
It's the control over the monster objectives. Again, now that Dragon is a higher priority, now that Rift Herald, Blue Buff, and Red Buff are all higher priorities, having Rek'Sai, it's just like a pseudo buff. I still don't think she's, in my opinion, kind of cream of the crop where Elise, Nidalee, and Rek'Sai, Kindred are, but
yeah.
I can kind of see the mentality here.
No, I like it. Still offers a lot of utility. Guaranteed to be that sort of knock-up bot towards the later stages of the game.
Lunchtime.
Yeah, Mouse actually going over a few obscure options there towards the top side of the map. I do like it, sort of the top lane Fizz has been played a lot more like a tank towards the top side of the map, not like that assassin play you see in the mid lane, but can go toe-to-toe with the old Ekko just because both of them just crazy dashing around all sorts of fights. I just feel like, you know, they fit as a matchup versus each other. We'll see whether we see the teleport Ignite out of Mouse to really do battle in that lane.
I mean, who sits here and is like the Fizz Ekko matchup? What are the inner workings of this?
Yeah.
One of the cute things that Fizz will do, that I do know kind of the micro interaction of, is that Fizz will dodge out of Ekko's Q on the return by using his own Q. So what he'll do is he'll dodge the initial shootout, and then he'll get really close to Ekko, and then right before it returns to him, he'll use his Q to shoot off behind him, and then get an extra auto attack in.
I like that a lot, actually. Newbee, we did mention the Twisted Fate. They now have final pick option as the TF is being hovered here for Dade, but they lock in Veigar. Never mind.
Wow.
So Veigar's had a slight change?
Slight change. He now stacks by attacking enemy champions.
Yes. So you can sort of, we were expecting this to mean that, you know, Veigar in a support position might actually be a little bit more viable because you can be harassing your opponent, building up that AP statically in lane without stealing away creeps from your AD carry. But Dade decided to take it into the mid lane, and we'll see how it does go. Of course, over time, I believe that you get the stun a little bit earlier than he did before it became, before it moved from instant with that baby cage.
I mean, the big thing is that Veigar offers so much control when sieging still. So yeah, his kit has been adjusted a little bit about how he gets his power and where his power is spent. But the core concept of Veigar being a very strong siege champion still exists in his identity, just because he rocks up to a tower, sets down his baby cage, and guess what? You can't come near this.
And it's also fantastic into Kalista. Just because you put her in the middle of the baby cage, and then where does she jump to? She just sort of doesn't. She's in her baby cage.
Cries.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So we'll see exactly how Dade is going to do. Already mixing things up as we move into 6.10 and Dade's return to the LPL. Coaches are going to shake hands. Ladies and gentlemen, Game 3 between EDG and Newbee coming right up. And there's Clearlove on your screen right now. Much drier than he was previously, as I believe we are straight into a pause as the game is just underway. Not going to be on Summoner's Rift just yet, but we'll be back as soon as we possibly can. Still some grins here on the side of Newbee especially, as Clearlove was looking stone-faced as usual.
Did you see that opening? I'd be all smiles too.
I don't think the players saw it, Frosker, unless they turned around. She's just fanning herself down now, just making sure that she's going to be able to recollect.
It's hot in here. That's fine.
Oh my goodness. Okay, but let's talk about this draft because it's a little bit different. You know, we had a brief conversation as that intro was running. Just, you know, how did we get to the Veigar pick? How was this a thing? I mean, you understand sort of the red side last pick, Twisted Fate. Oh yeah, no, we've nailed it. We've managed to get like a team comp that we can run Twisted Fate into. But how do you get a team comp that you just want to run Veigar into?
I mean, Veigar has so much control over. I'm looking down at my my draft face here. Veigar has so much control over an area still with his I don't want to call it a baby cage.
Event Horizon?
Event Horizon, thank you. And like you said, it works really well against the likes of Kalista, not Trundle. Victor is a very low mobility mage. So it's kind of your two big carries that you can very easily lock down and trap. So I kind of think that was the thinking here. I'm really curious how Dade is going to play it. Because so far we've seen two games where, yes, Dade did manage to go off on the back half of the Cassidy as kind of being janitorial duty. But the games actually haven't really been about Dade. He hasn't gotten a lot of attention. And I'm curious if he's going to need that on a pick like Veigar. If they're going to just leave him alone, scale him up, pick him up when it's time to siege.
Yeah, I also... he will get a fair bit of attention probably from Clearlove this game at the same time, just because Clearlove, when he does play Kindred, he likes to gank early and gank aggressively at the same time, often heading towards that mid lane. It is something that we've seen time and time again, and especially from Kindred players just in general. Get that red buff, go kill someone is generally how it works. So we'll see exactly how it is going to work, because Event Horizon is fantastic because she's going to be hop, skipping, and jumping all around the map. And if you jump into that wall, you're probably just going to die.
And the other question we had then is, for the majority of the series, in fact, the entire series, Nidalee and Kindred have been banned, so this is the first time that we will see her come through. And yes, I can rationalize Rek'Sai when Kindred and Nidalee are not available, just because then Rek'Sai is able to keep up with her farming. It's not like she'll get out-farmed. But now that Kindred's on the board, is this when Rek'Sai will really be outclassed? Or is it worth prioritizing this jungle control and, more importantly, this objective control on a 6.10 dragon patch to take Rek'Sai into a pick like Kindred?
Yeah, it's a really good point. And actually, sort of, now that I think about it...
Because Graves was available.
Yeah, Graves was available. And look, the Lamb's Respite is going to be really, really useful for Kindred as well into this Veigar, keeping everyone alive as Veigar just throws out all of his spells to try and destroy someone. Just pressing that R button will be very, very effective. But if Clearlove gets stunned before he can use it, he may just die before he comes out. I think a lot of this game will actually revolve around Dade and his ability to make this Veigar pick work as he misses the first Q.
It's about sending a message.
Yeah, precisely. And the message is, I sort of missed you.
I can't aim.
False sense of security achieved. Dade's master plan is coming to fruition. And he is, of course, the mini master of evil right now. So it's understandable that he has some sinister thoughts in mind for what he's going to do in this mid lane.
Is this true? Was Veigar actually voiced by Freak?
I have no idea.
I don't know if that was a rumor.
I didn't ask David when I was at MSI.
Someone will tweet me.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably
we'll message him after.
Too many people will.
Hey, did you voice Veigar? He doesn't necessarily sound like Freak all that much, as Clearlove has a bit of a sing.
It's going to be standard lanes again.
Standard upside-down lanes.
Oh,
actually,
I didn't even
it's
notice.
actually a lane swap, so Happy and More.
I was looking at blue side, but you are correct. Newbee are going to be initiating the lane swap.
So, I find this really, really interesting as well. The fact that the Kalista Alistar lane is being moved out of by a Lucian Bard, arguably one of the strongest lanes in the history of League of Legends.
And again, the idea that Bard is not invading. So again, Krepo has this very hard and fast idea that Bard should always invade the enemy jungle just because he has one of the strongest level 1s. And so you're taking advantage over Bard's immediate power spike, where levels 2 through 5, he's not as strong. And again, his level 1 empowered by that meep slap, as he finally now looks for his invade.
Yeah, mouse is tilted already, by the way. Missed all 3 of the creeps as he headed towards the top lane to try and get something before the bottom lane made it.
And this was an adaptation that we saw in the LCK, which I was curious if it was going to show in the LPL, is this idea of when the duo lanes look to invade the jungle, just immediately rushing towards the top wave and clearing it as quickly as possible with duo jungle and top laner to mess up the push, as well as to secure farm for your top laner.
EDG have a lot of offensive summoner Keystone Masteries.
We're going to kill people.
Yeah.
Battle of fervor.
We are fervoring towards battle.
Let's fervor.
In a serious, serious way. That is the trinity of fervor. It's Dade underneath his turret now, seeing what he can do as far as farming things out. Scout might get ganked here by Swift, who tunnels his way in. There's the baby cage, nails it first off as the flash and the cleanse have to be used. Scout gets himself to safety, but that's double summoner spell. Swift says, what? As he makes his way out.
The power of Veigar being demonstrated by Dade right there. Gets a really nice catch against the wall on Scout, forcing, like you said, both the cleanse and the flash. It's now a question of, can Swift continue to punish that? Going for round 2.
Yeah, the cage has been set up. Scout not going to be able to get out of that one. First blood's going to go down relatively easily here as he grabs it. The last auto attack of that empowered Q auto will come out from Swift, and he'll nail that first blood for Newbee.
To think back, when Victor really came back onto the scene as like an up-and-coming pick, it was in kind of the same vein and era of Cho'Gath mid, and one of the biggest counters to Victor back in the day was taking Cho'Gath Rek'Sai, because he's so low mobility that if you hit him with one displacement, it pretty much guaranteed the other one to hit. It was just like a bounce castle of just instantaneous death. Veigar, the Thunderdome. Yeah. Where you going, buddy?
Exactly, and Scout just did not have the damage available to him to try and answer anything. I mean, he didn't get stunned, no, but he just couldn't go anywhere, which is exactly what you pointed out earlier on, is the fact that Victor sort of uncomfortably immobile in that regard. Not immobile, just not able to move very quickly at any one time.
To be fair, though, pretty sure that Victor would have died whether that was a Rek'Sai, a Kindred, a Graves, or a Nidalee.
Yeah, the cage was set up. Things worked out quite well.
Cage about to be set up again. Scout's much more patient this time around. Da-da.
Yeah, exactly. The wave is pushing in as, he's going to walk, but there's the flash knock-up. Scout once again in the death cage, and that is just easy back-to-back kills.
It just
Swift
gives
grabs
you
both of them.
A free, what is it, dark matter still?
Yeah.
Okay, so the W there, the comet drop, the duration of the knock-up from Rek'Sai's Unburrow is pretty much the entire animation of the Dark Horizon. Not Dark Horizon.
Well, V's actually taking a heck of a lot of damage here as well. Deft is going to grab it as Mouse teleports in. Tanked up a couple of turret shots there, but EDG get one back on the board, and it's in the hands of Deft, which is very important.
Yep, likewise, they will get some much-needed chip damage on this tower as they're trying to push another wave into it. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, it is being answered by Newbee. Still big advantage to Dade, and we talked about this, the first 2 games, not a lot of focus to Dade. Were they going to spend time with this Veigar? Seems like we have our answer.
Yeah, and it is yes, if you were wondering at home.
Confirmed.
Yep, 11 CS is the lead here for Newbee's new mid laner, Dade. Definitely legacy player, and I just love the fact that he's the one picking up sort of the new champions that we haven't necessarily seen so much of in times gone by.
So this is nitpicky, but if you look at the Dragon Pit, you have like the little non-dragon.
Yeah.
I wish that they would put the symbols of the dragons right there.
No, it's a mountain drake.
Yeah. What did I say? Non-dragon? Mountain dragon.
Yeah. No, that's what dragon's going to be.
But I feel like the one that should be spawning should be there.
Oh, instead of a little hourglass thing. Yeah, you're right. I understand that. Good point.
Because I just get so frustrated when my spectator doesn't look over, so I have no idea what dragon's coming up. I'm like, they have 6 minutes to prepare for this. Could be a Cloud Drake, or it could be an Infernal Drake.
It could be the good one.
Stay tuned next time.
Yeah. Well, like you've got pretty good chance for it to be a good dragon. Ocean Drake's still pretty good in the early stages of the game. Gets some regen, stuff like that.
Ocean Drake is very good.
Yeah.
I mean, effectively, if you're a jungler, we had an OPL pro say, if you're a jungler and you got an Ocean Drake, you're pretty much fighting your jungle creeps. You peace out for 2 seconds to the side. It's actually 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then you get all your health back.
Imagine that if you had like a red buff at the same time, 9%.
You're cruising.
Yeah, it's just silly amounts of extra health. As Scout, I mean, twice bitten, and he needs to be like 3 times shy now. His Mouse is going to make his way over, protecting his mid laner here. You can see Clearlove, he's being pinged out. The rest of Newbee. Oh, you got to check the Lady Brush every time.
It's the Pixel Brush.
Yeah, well, Meiko, he's got out of position. Massive pulverize, but it's not going to mean anything as the cow is going to head back to pasture. Happy going to pick up the kill. They might transition this one into a Rift Herald, stealing away at least a blue buff.
And so much of this power has been created because of their mid lane advantage. Because Dade is so far ahead, because Scout cannot move safely into Fog of War or even around his own mid lane, it's giving so much space and time for Newbee to be this aggressive, to invade like that, to find these picks. So EDG are hemorrhaging on the top side of their map from that mid lane, and they need to start to control it.
Well, you can see Clearlove actually heading over to the Dragon Pit here, seeing whether he can just grab that one away for free. Looks like he probably will be.
Mountain Drake will be important, obviously not as immediately so as our initial towers have fallen, and it will be quite a sizable time before another tower should.
You can see Mouse actually finds himself towards the bottom side of the map, trying to even out that CS just a little bit. Meiko going to tank up a full minion wave here, and Newbee going to utilize this extra time that they do have to take the Rift Herald. EDG clawing back some much-needed farm. 1,000 gold to lead at 8.5 minutes for Newbee.
And this is interesting, kind of a sieging dragon trade for the Rift Herald, which is your split push. So again, Meiko.
Swift decided to pick that one up. So split pushing Rek'Sai could come in. Of course, has some decent wave clear if you can get up to the wave. So we'll see whether he's going to be utilized for that.
Well, he is heading down towards the bottom side of the map. Although he won't get the 5% reduction bonus if he's sharing the lane with V here.
Yep, very true. And very importantly, Mouse managed to push that wave towards the turret, so it will reset, head back towards him, so the Fizz will be able to pick up some more farm. 10 CS behind now. Has himself that Dark Seal as well as the Corrupting Potion, which is very, very nice. Dade going to grab himself another blue buff. You are so greedy. But 15% AP. This is where we should be talking about that, because this is Veigar. This guy already gets far too much AP. And having that extra 15% is huge. If he gets a Ravenous Death Cap as well as a couple of Infernal Drakes, think about all of the multipliers on top of that already very large ability power number. He'll just be able to look at someone, ult them, and they're dead.
Likewise, he does have one of the new items appearing for the first time in the LPL. He's got the Lost Chapters in his back pocket. Now, effectively what this does is it has a battle passive kind of akin to the Catalyst, in which he'll get mana regen back after leveling up. I call it a battle passive because he's also got some incentive there to trade spells on enemy champions and get some mana back.
The old Catalyst.
Yeah.
Instead of what the Catalyst does now, all sorts of strange things with regenerating health if you've got high mana and regenerating mana if you've got high health. It's Deft getting a teleport out from Mouse here as the Rend is available. Ult actually comes out there from... Oh, no, it doesn't from Mouse, as he's just going to try and dance his way around. Fate's Call comes in as B, right over the top, does have the Parallel Convergence, uses the ultimate, has a whole bunch of sticks stuck in him, though, as Scout able to kite things out. You can see Clearlove's already picked up a kill. Dade in trouble, as Clearlove not going to fall down. More in trouble as well. Beautiful team fight out of EDG. Newbee, they'd made the early game so well done, but... just all fell apart in that one fight.
And the importance here is the fact that Scout was able to move from the mid lane because he saw exactly where Newbee were. Because they collapsed so early, it's actually the kind of cavalry coming in. Check out where Victor is. He's going to come up, and in this choke point, he's going to lay across pretty sizable amounts of damage. Now, it will be Kalista and Fizz kind of cleaning up everything on the back half here, but Victor just deleted so many people there. And again, he's able to do that because he knows all of Newbee is there. I can finally move from my lane, and guess what? They're in this perfect little choke point for me.
And look, we talk about Veigar, the fact that Event Horizon is a really, really dumb ability, should probably be an ultimate. It's the one that you really need to watch out for in these fights as far as what Dade's been doing. And the only target that was in that cage was Meiko. He immediately got Fates called out. There was no stuns to be gained from that ability.
No control in the fight left.
Yeah, and it meant that there was absolutely no control in that fight. You're exactly right. So, EDG capitalized and come out ahead. And now they have the gold lead by about 300 when they were trying to catch back up.
More importantly, this little fish down here, check out all those CS. He's rich.
Yeah, there's a whole school down here for him to pick up.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I tried. I don't know whether it was all that good, but, you know, we'll assess it later, see whether we return to it.
Put that one in the review.
Keep it in the furnace. As Mouse just trying to get a freeze where he can. V going to do the best he can to actually break that one as effectively as possible. We'll see how Mouse goes cleaning up these minions as they head towards that turret. Death Ray now from Scout has been empowered. So lots of wave clear available for this Victor, who now sees himself with, you know, only a 6 CS discrepancy against Dade, but 1, 2, and 2, feeling absolutely fine in this lane.
Yeah, despite his really rough early game and the very heavy camp, he's feeling good. And there's the Fate's Call. Swing and miss.
Magical Journey comes out just to get more to safety. Pretty optimistic, honestly, out of EDG to try and go for that one. Just
It's
use
out of
the rand,
range.
use the rand. Oh, not going to happen as V is going to lock up the little Rift Scuttler.
Unluck.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't think the Rift Scuttler will be there for when the Dragon spawns in a minute and a half. So that is good news here for EDG. But that's 80 gold.
What's really cool about Kalista in this composition, because we were also kind of a question mark over Kalista and where she fit in kind of the 80 carry.
The grand scheme of things,
the grand scheme of 80 carries. We all know that, you know, Lucian's really strong right now. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Caitlyn so far, Ezreal. But the cool thing about Kalista in this composition is that Kalista is one of the few 80 carries like Ezreal who does damage when she's kiting backwards. Obviously due to her martial pose. And when you look across at Newbee's composition, it's a lot of dive threat. You've got good pick potential from Bard or long range initiation, but then you have dive threat from Rek'Sai as well as Ekko. And Kalista is one of the few champions alongside Ezreal and maybe Lucian when he's doing his culling, who does damage while she's running away, whereas every other 80 carry is denied that.
Well, you can see actually EDG moving that bottom lane towards the bottom lane, which makes a heck of a lot of sense. But also trying to push things out. Of course, no outer turret to gain, but not wanting to use that short range of Kalista on the bottom side of the map. As there's the headbutt. Gets V out of his parallel convergence. Doesn't get the shield, and Clearlove able to dash around. He's definitely dead as V tries to prolong his life with the ultimate. Probably didn't need to use it. There's now EDG. 10 seconds left on the Dragon. Perfect time to get a pick.
Yeah, V just way too far forward, didn't have the correct vision on top of him, and wasn't respecting the fact that the Ocean Drake was coming online, so there was reason for EDG to be in the area.
Yeah.
He does have his TP available to him as well as 5 seconds left on that death timer, so Newbee could still look to contest this if they collapse quickly.
Yeah, it means that EDG will have Kwame and Gee as far as the Captain Planet Dragons are concerned. Oh my god, Swift, you stealing beast! As he locks away the Dragon, they trade for more. But look, there's nothing that this guy can't take.
I mean, just to be frank, he's completely outclassing Clearlove and objective control right now.
In his ability to press a button at the right time.
2 Barons and a Dragon.
Just silly. Parallel convergence is going to come in. Of course, the layering of these sort of CCs is actually beautiful out of Newbee, as they have the baby cage as well as the parallel convergence. That's everyone inside it getting stunned, as well as everyone outside it getting stunned. And then you can use the Tempered Fate to set it all up if you want to.
Can we just call it the Thunderdome? I feel like
I
we're
think
in
Thunderdome is definitely good. Definitely
Australia,
good.
Mad Max, get some...
Oh, I didn't think about the Mad Max thing.
Get the Thunderdome vibe.
Unfortunately, it wasn't filmed in Australia, the new one.
It wasn't?
No, it wasn't.
You know, the 80s ones were better.
Yeah.
I mean, Fury Road was good.
I like Fury Road.
That's a solid 9 out of 10.
Whoa, that's a big score. No, I thought it was a good film. It's just a really long car chase, you know? And okay, I feel like we've gone off topic here as Happy farming up here in the mid lane. You can see Dade split pushing towards the bottom side of the map. His teleport at the ready. Can't answer anything right now as Mouse is trying to deal with this Ekko towards the top side of the map.
I love how
Swift
we
is there as well.
slated that information. It was like farming. Okay, what's important? Teleport. That's actually important.
Oh, Fate's Call is going to come in. Deft
Through the wall.
There's the flash pulverizers. Dade is going to get delivered back to Deft. The explosive damage as he wants to be able to grab some more. The Rend was there. Burning to death.
He's going to kill him with trample.
Burning. Meiko. Got to bash him with something. There it is. Headbutt pulverizer is going to lock him down. Dade is going to get destroyed by the cow.
Let's just appreciate some of the beautiful mechanics that happened in that scenario, though.
Yeah.
From pretty much everyone involved, but particularly EDG squad. Throwing Meiko through that wall brilliantly lines it up. We'll have to watch the replay if he went into the pulverized animation and then flashed.
I think it would have been pretty close.
I can't remember perfectly, but even more, Deft's flash to dodge Dade's skill shot that would have traded the kill 1-for-1.
Yeah.
Very sick.
Just some real flashy plays
good
overall.
Sick.
Yeah, the good kind of sick.
Like the too much ice cream sick.
As far as summoner spell trades, though, is concerned, Dade used 1 and EDG used 3. So, I mean, the kill definitely happened.
But you
so
get put on your resume, like, killed my old mid laner.
That is a very good point. Well, Clearlove, he's finished off his Phantom Dancer, going for Battle Kindred. Lots of attack speed already as the Blood Razor is done at the same time. Always scares me, honestly. I mean, it wouldn't right now just because it's 17 minutes into the game, but when you see all of these junglers now come straight back with like a golden jewel in the middle of their item, you're like, how are you sated already? But, of course, Sated Devourer no longer in the game, so I need to stop freaking out.
It's okay.
Yep. It's just for everyone else at home wondering about that. Haven't played for a little while, maybe.
You know what took us through the last chapters? Why don't you take us through Blood Razor, Atlas?
Well, it's basically like the old Madred's Blood Razor, so it gives you a little bit of percentage health damage, a lot of attack speed there as well, but doesn't give you that double on-hit passive that Sated Devourer used to. That is now incorporated in Ginsu's Rage Blade, my personal favorite item ever.
Did he also just pick up a Phantom Dancer?
What? Yeah, that's what I was talking about before.
Oh, I thought he had just purchased it.
No. Grab that one first, and then the Phantom Dancer came in after that.
I wasn't checking on Clearlove's items. Kindred, what's that guy been doing? Apparently a lot, 3-0-1.
Exactly right. It's a lot of kill participation. Actually, no, it's only 50%.
Sorry, Clearlove, I've given you up for Swift. He's the true dragon control, Baron control god.
Well, yeah, Clearlove needs to re-find his ability to lock these objectives down, because it's honestly a large factor in why they lost Game 2 and why Game 1 was so long. Is Meiko going to face check here? Does have the ultimate. Isn't going to use it. Easy on the trigger. There's no ward went down either, so understood that there are a lot of people there willing to kill him. Decides instead just to walk away.
It is important, though, that EDG have moved up their warding line deep into Newbee's red side jungle, and as they move all their vision in there, they then immediately walk into Fog of War where they have practically no vision and choose to fight Rek'Sai.
Yeah, well, Swift is going to try and lock down Clearlove. Not going to be able to right now as Meiko going to get stunned by more. Clearlove continuing to move around here. Oh, Baby Cage so close. As there's the headbutt pulverize. Dade doesn't have that ability anymore as he gets knocked up. Tempered Fate comes in.
Here comes the teleport.
But Deft is just going to be able to pull out those Ren stacks. There's the parallel convergence. Deft is going to die. The fish is down as V takes a lot of damage. Oh my goodness, Clearlove, he had the ultimate. Gets the heal back as well as Swift is going to fall. Double kill for Clearlove now as V running away with barely his life. And Happy doing exactly the same thing.
And EDG come out on top. But like you said, a slight mismanagement of maybe some cooldowns there. The Fates...
Clearlove decides who lives and dies, Frostgrin.
The Lamb's Respite, not available for Deft, but it is Scout that comes up on the back half. And again, fighting in another really tight choke point, it's much easier for Victor to lay down his damage. Again, the damage has been moved over time, but if you're locked up...
And one thing I've always loved about Dade as well is his timing on abilities. Unfortunately, the event horizons have been coming out right at the beginning of all of these skirmishes. And of course, EDG have been doing a fantastic job of fighting when it's on cooldown. But I'd really like to see him hold on to it, use the threat of that fantastic move to really change how these fights go, instead of just blowing it straight away.
I mean, you kind of have two trains of thoughts here. Veigar can be used as a pick champion, or he can be used as a control champion.
Yeah, very true.
But these team fights are going so quickly that you don't have enough time to wait the 22-second cooldown.
Well, this is Ocean Drake number 2 here for Newbee as well as it's going down very low. Clearlove, not necessarily known for his stealing potential as Swift locks that one up very nicely. Parallel Convergence comes in, the slow is down as Mouse throws out a fish, finds Swift with it. Maybe not the optimal target as once again they find themselves in a choke. Decent event horizon this time as Scout is being turned on, but it's not going to be enough. Mouse grabs the kill. V is just burning down with that Chaos Storm. Dade just jumps in there and kills him with the ultimate. Really nicely done, but Newbee find themselves once again on the back foot. That is the only kill they got for 3.
Yeah, good job for Dade to make sure that he had something worth. He was dead either way, so burns his flash and trades 1-for-1 on Scout, but had a really good setup initially. Again, we talked about the two trains of thought of using that event horizon as a zoning tool or as a pick tool. He used it that time around as a zoning tool, but Mouse able to get across that border quite easily on the Fizz, and a nice gravitational field to stall that team fight out for EDG.
Oh, Tempered Fate comes in, so Mouse finds himself stunned up. The Baron as well, a little bit unfortunate about that one, but Clearlove locks down a Baron buff. Oh my goodness, what a change. Swift, of course, wasn't there, but I had a feeling that, you know, maybe even Happy would be able to do it with an Ardent Blaze.
I'm sorry, I'm done.
That might have been rude, but I mean, really. I was still on
I
the toes.
wasn't expecting it.
Yeah.
You could have gone with the piercing light. It wouldn't have been funny, but you went with the Ardent Blaze.
notoriously doesn't do a lot of damage unless you're rusty, in which case it does all of your damage.
AP Lucian, boys and girls. Okay. Clearlove got the Baron. EDG are finally in control. Pretty much this entire series, they've been in control until that Baron point, and then they fumble it and they give Newbee a foot back in the door. Let's see if they can actually close with it. 30 seconds has been added to the Baron buff, so they have quite a sizable window to utilize this. Don't have necessarily the best wave clear or back management. They did go ahead and clear, I guess using that extra 30 seconds to pick up some extra farm on Deft and Meiko before they actually return to the bot lane.
Yeah, very true. Clearlove, you can see moving up as Scout going to grab this wave with the death ray. Dade going back to base probably wants to get that Rabadon's death cap. Of course, even more important for a Veigar who statically builds up that AP, so that 30% bonus is doing even more work, even on 2 items. Of course, Morellonomicon important to make sure that whoever he's targeting doesn't get healed back up.
And it's also been adjusted, the type of healing. It's not just self-healing anymore.
Yeah.
Grievous Wounds buff.
Thank goodness. Soraka, please.
Deft prepping this wave, however, so EDG looking for their first tower. Newbee definitely have to respect the dive potential, because here it goes.
Yeah, there it is, as Deft is going to get stunned up once again. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough for Newbee, though, as Swift, he's now going to fall down at the same time. Tempered Fate is going to go wide this time. And Dade's dead. Swift is dead. This tower is going to fall down. Thanks, Mountain Drake. Thanks, Baron Buff. That's a double kill, as Moore was just not in the right position. Death Ray, of course, named very, very effectively. As Mouse not going to be stunned underneath the top inner turret as well, and EDG will break open the base. This inhibitor is going to fall down as well. We'll see what more they can gather, because there's a lot of damage in all these minions. The Baron buff doing work.
Just a massive blunder there from Newbee. You have to think about it this way. They have the Baron buff. Chances are they're going to for sure take that outer tower. But if we die here, we're giving up so much more. And it ends up being also a Nexus tower as well as an inhibitor.
Yeah, and look, this is the power of Mountain Drake as well. I mean, they utilize that to grab a relatively early Baron, like basically a 20-minute Baron, if we remember back.
Likewise with Kindred, so the power of Mountain Drake really potent on this composition.
Super powerful with that that Blood Razor, like we were talking about before, and then all of the structures then melt afterwards, largely based on that help at the same time, as Deft takes a Prey Seeker, but doesn't really worry about it too much. And EDG, now with so much control, I mean, the Baron will wear off very, very soon. With that bottom inhibitor down, it will just mean that Newbee, once again, at the mercy of EDG in their control of the map. V looking to try and attack this red buff. Not going to happen, as Mouse is going to try and make his way out. Phase Dive is going to get him over the wall here, as Mouse might be caught just a little bit. EDG are going to lose that 1% one more time. And Mouse, you're in so much trouble. There's the culling. Happy going to lock it down. And look, we'll see whether this buys Newbee any time.
Buys them a little bit of gold.
Yeah,
but
buys them some items.
Otherwise, it's really about resetting. So it's important to note that EDG did manage to take down that Baron inhibitor.
Yeah.
So could look towards that cooldown when it comes back up and playing those 2 pressure points. Newbee right now need to just take control defensively of their jungle. Get a nice shallow ward line set up initially.
Thankfully, Meiko now has a blue buff.
It's all good.
Yeah.
15% AP scaling on Alistar. That's all good.
Yeah.
He's got...
None.
It's okay.
Yeah. Totally fine. Don't worry. What's 15% of 0? Probably a whole lot, I'd assume. We were talking about my ability to do maths. And I'm going to be blissfully ignorant on this one. Meiko now just going to be bashing these minions with all of that added ability power that he now has.
Naturally, it's also...
I feel like I'm tilting a lot of people right now.
It's all good.
8,000 gold to lead
not
up to
awful.
EDG. This is massive right now. Admittedly, you know, Newbee in game number 2, they were behind for a lot of it.
Fights and deaths?
Yeah, these are where all the deaths and kills have gone down on the map for us. You can see a couple there towards the bottom side of the map. I believe most of them being Dade.
That can't be all the deaths.
One of them, one Dade, one Swift, I think.
Why did we have skulls and swords?
That was one of the teams, and that was EDG, and where they've got kills and where they've died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Did you not read the required reading for this?
I missed the brochure, the pamphlet.
Oh, pathetic. Well, third dragon is going to fall. The third ocean dragon, sorry, is going to fall down, going into the hands of EDG this time. So a bit of extra out of combat regeneration. Meiko as well, grabbing himself some position. Not going to find Swift there. As now Mouse continues to farm towards the top side. The split pushing Fizz.
It's making sure that you're keeping mid and top pushing because you know that bot lane will passively push because you have the super creeps in it as the event horizon goes down.
No one puts Meiko in a paddock, especially not when he's a cow, as the fish is going to go right and hits Happy somehow. That was ridiculous, but Dade is, of course, just going to ult Deft to death. Scout now caught out of position. The Tempered Fate is good this time. Scout flashes immediately. Swift now gets on top of him. Happy grabs the kill. Meiko, he's going to fall. No more ultimate to speak of. And EDG, it's another team fight that they fumble in the mid game.
And it was Dade who just deleted Deft there. Had the
I think that was called the LOL R. That's the move.
Pretty much just deleted him from the map as well as caught onto Swift. Unfortunately, the Tempered Fate didn't CC chain into the event horizon. Scout was able to get out of it, but too little too late at that point. It's going to end up being 2 towers here, and they could possibly fall back to the Baron. It's going to be a 30-second window here. Scout will be back up as well as Meiko, so EDG do manage to kind of get themselves back up in time.
Yeah. So 20 seconds there, of course. Baron power play was 5.3k, but after the Baron, they immediately clawed a whole lot of that back on the side of Newbee. Now they need to clean up their base. Super Creeps are heading towards the bottom side. They lost a Nexus turret, which is important. Deft is going to grab himself a red buff. 3 seconds until the Baron. There's a back coming out of Clearlove here. 605 as well. This Kindred doing a bunch of work.
I mean, his Evelyn was going off last game as well. But
yeah, he's been playing really well this whole series. Of course, MVP performance in game number 1 on the Rek'Sai at the same time. So Clearlove, no questions really, apart from his ability to lock down objectives.
It's also just coming to this issue of these few fights, just a little bit tilted.
Yeah.
Moore, again, doing a great job with these Tempered Fates. Hopefully, they'll be able to chain that CC a little bit better on following it up with Event Horizon. Or vice versa.
Precisely. Mouse is sort of hanging around towards the bottom side. Does have teleport. As EDG move towards this Baron. As long as Swift is around, I have a feeling they probably don't want to really start it up. But as far as this sort of like mini skirmish phase is concerned, unless they manage to get any kills on the side of EDG, the double Ocean Drake will actually be helping Newbee out if they then find respite.
A big question is also what's going to happen on the bottom side of the map between Fizz and Ekko, and who's going to actually win that at this point.
Well, it is a Spirit Visage in comparison to the Spectre's Cowl, so a slight item advantage there for V. But there is a Corrupting Potion. Oh no, they both got, it's the same items, flat out. Apart from Merc Treads in comparison to the Ninja Tabi. So theoretically, V should have the item advantage. We'll see whether Mouse can play this one right. As you can see, there's a double knock-up, though, as Moore has to get himself out, uses the magical journey, and there's the locket for the shield. Dade, Baby Cage is down. Scout looking for it here as the teleport comes in. Mouse closes the gap immediately. There's the fish onto Swift. They just want some sort of catch. Another Event Horizon comes down. Tempered Fate locks up Clearlove. That's the only one he gets. No, Meiko's in there as well. Can he turn around? Can he get anything more as the knock-up is going to be there? Dade gets pinned. And are they going to have the damage? They are. Mouse locks down the kill onto Dade, and now everyone on Newbee has to run out of the way. That is the one pick that they needed. However, EDG, they survive.
And Deft and Meiko, huge props to them over the course of that fight. They played it beautifully, showing that Kalista and Alistar are still very relevant in this meta.
Deft as well, still sitting on those 2 items as well as the QSS and the BF sword, so probably now with a bit of extra money for him. You can see lots of assists as well.
I hope we get to see a replay of that. That was so beautiful on Dade.
Just, it makes you feel that Deft just needs Flash to be able to outplay this this Veigar, who has been doing a lot of work. Of course, they did utilize the fact that Dade didn't have his available in that last fight, so couldn't just flash on top of Deft and kill him. Because he can't QSS Death.
Of course, the former Samsung teammates, Dade and Deft. Obviously, whoever wins here, I'm sure it's going to be big grins and smiles when it comes time to shake hands.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Bit of a reunion opportunity for the two of them. I like the Frozen Mallet pickup here from Clearlove as well. Wants to be able to add some CC to his kit. Not only the slight slow that you get from the E, the Wolf's Bite. Now Scout clearing out the mid lane, as Victor's like to do. Heading back towards this Baron area. Meiko clearing out vision. Seems like the standard Baron dance is going to ensue here, as EDG have got all of their health bars back. And Mouse, not going to get stunned from the parallel convergence, uses the playful trickster to get on top of V, but look, we're dealing with like 100 damage to a tank, and it's not really doing much at all.
Big thing for me is that the 26-second dragon timer is now up and online. Unfortunately, we don't know which dragon it is until we get a look at it. But should be noted that EDG have a mountain and ocean drake, whereas Newbee have 2 ocean drakes. So if it is an ocean drake, we could start seeing some ridiculous region numbers coming out.
Massive. There's the fish. Actually, more. Can't magical journey out of that one as he's going to die. Mouse locks down the pick. This could be really important for EDG, as no Tempered Fates are going to be able to rocket into that Baron pit. Clearlove looking to steal away some chickens. He's not going to be able to. Dade grabs that. He's doing a lot of damage right now. Void Staff now completed. Fiendish Codex chilling there as well. We'll have 30% CDR for lots of extra cages.
And again, we talked about kind of the power of Rek'Sai and where she is with the Tremor Sense. Obviously able to check this freely. Oh!
Yeah. Thankfully, they've got Deft in there as well, as V is going to ult his way out. They've got the Baron. Can they get any more? As Meiko, big front line now with the ultimate running. Time Winder going to come in. EDG now as a 5-man stack. Meiko looking to try and regen his health up. Does, of course, have the Triumphant Roar, but they're just looking to go straight for the Dragon. It's going to be a Mountain Drake here as well, so much turret damage if they end up picking this one up.
20% as well as the Baron buff. Siege minions on top of that. So
the Siege and Dream.
EDG are online and ready for this. Big props to Meiko in that Baron fight.
Oh,
yes, you are correct that they do have Kalista this time around. EDG's like, no more. Kalista. Draft it, boys.
Has nothing to do with the fact that Deft is a fantastic Kalista player
or
as
the
well.
fact that Kalista works really well against a dive comp because she does damage while backing up. No, it's...
And also enabling Meiko is a fantastic thing to do.
It's just, you know, Clearlove can't find Smite. We need Deft to do it for him. But Meiko made sure to punt Swift away. He was actually looking for the tunnel in.
Yeah.
Got thrown sideways, so good defense.
Really nicely done. This time around from EDG, understanding that they need to make sure that they respect Swift no matter what he can do. Get him as far away from the pit as you possibly can, because even if he has a Pre-Seeker, he'll still probably be able to steal something with it. In fact, did so this game.
Playing so well.
Really, really well. Swift has been brilliant so far.
At least in his objective control.
Yeah. Of course, this game as well. Back-to-back kills onto Scout in the early game to set them up for potential success, but unfortunately, that one team fight that we had in the early to mid-game really put them straight back to square one, and they haven't been able to find their way back in again. Mortal Reminder now done for Clearlove as well. Only one more item slot remains for the Kindred, and that's another needlessly large rod for Scout. He's got his perfect Hex Core as well as the Morellonomicon and the Ryze Crystal Scepter. A lot of utility here for the victor, but once again, I mean, Clearlove is just playing so well. 6-0-6. Outside of securing objectives, he's just been beautiful to watch.
Couple fumbled lambs respites, but otherwise, yes.
Oh, no. That was just, that was chosen. He's like, Def, no, you don't deserve it this time around. We're still going to win the fight. We don't need you.
How did I miss Dragon when you were here?
Something like that.
Ping's going down to that bottom inhibitor, however, it is open and exposed, and again, we have 2 Mountain Drakes, as well as the Baron buffed minions, V and Clearlove on your screen.
Yep. Both of them being big deals in this series.
Obviously, intense pressure. Game 3. We've already seen some massive upsets and comebacks from Newbee. It's also in Chaogu's repertoire.
And you also spoke about both of these teams needing to start on the front foot as well. I mean, both of them slumping towards the end of last season, wanting to get a win on the board as soon as possible. There's the cage, as Meiko does have his ultimate. May need to use it relatively soon as they grab themselves the inhibitor. Double Mountain Drake helping them out, and Meiko still has the Unbreakable Will if he needs to. Very easy, just move in, grab the turret, move out.
But so much respect given to Newbee. They're not overstaying their welcome.
Despite the 10,000 gold lead.
It starts to matter less when you get this high up, though.
True. Diminishing returns. Rabbiden's Deathcap done for Scout. That was what he turned that needlessly large rod into. Now still has room for the Vision Wards that he can put down. But, God, this Victor is going to be doing so much damage.
If he can get you in his ultimate for the entire duration.
And there's going to be a point where, honestly, like I think even now, Dade has been farming very well, 305 creeps, but I have a feeling that he'll have so much ability power that he'll almost just be able to press R and Scout will die. Because he's got no magic resist. He's just got a bit of a health buffer there on the side of the Ryze Crystal Scepter. It's not likely he'll be able to live for long through Dade's damage. And if he takes any chip beforehand, I mean, I have a feeling that it's just dead if he presses up.
And this is what you were talking about, you know, high pressure situation between these two teams, EDG and...
Oh, Event Horizon is going to come down as well. Mouse has been picked out. There's the ult. Dade says, no, you ain't getting away, you slippery Fizz. Will be able to grab himself a blue buff as well. Nice pick. And once again, EDG, I mean, yeah, they're still going to have pressure. They took the bottom inhibitor, and look, that will help them out, but they've been stalled a little bit here from Newbee. If you're talking about scaling, I mean, they've got a Veigar.
I'm just talking about the history between these two teams. I mean, again, an entire split went by where EDG only faced QG once.
Yeah.
They didn't get to play in the playoffs, obviously, because QG had to forfeit.
Yeah.
Now known as Newbee. Think of how different Spring Split would have been if we could have seen these two Titans clashing repeatedly. Yeah,
precisely. Even if they had have just been able to play out that semi-final as well, EDG may have actually been the ones heading to MSI. They would have had a little bit more time to spend on the stage before the matchup against RNG. Could have been QG that upset them before heading into that. We could have had QG at MSI. Who knows what could have happened there? I'm actually quite glad it worked out how it did, because RNG had a fantastic performance on the international stage.
Get to see them later on in the week, but Swift may be caught.
Oh, Deft is actually caught here as well. QSS's, and my god! Okay, so thankfully he bought a Negatron cloak.
He's also got a
Guardian
GA.
Angel. Yep. There's a Tempered Fate. Scout actually moves out of the way of it though, so Newbee unable to get the lockdown towards the later stage of the game. This is the MVP Moore that needs to be landing these late game abilities, because this is what Bard is able to do. He can turn the whole face of a game based on a few key moves, a few key abilities in a team fight.
Still, though, you have so much chase potential from Newbee, and I agree with you. This is why it really comes down to Bard and Moore in particular, just because he has the long-range pick potential. Because every other champion on Newbee's lineup, when they're diving the backline, like Victor's able to do damage while he runs away with his laser.
Yep.
Kindred's able to do damage while she runs away with her Q.
Yep.
We've already talked about Kalista, but...
Ooh, speaking of which, Fate's Call is going to come in more once again, possibly caught out of position. Gravity Field's in there. Swift is going to get caught out. We do have the cage right in amongst everything as V right in the backline as well. Dade waiting to get the right target, but it can't be Deft. He gets the shutdown onto Happy, actually, and now Dade running for the hills. Everyone from EDG is still alive, and Dade does not have a target for the ultimate. He gets knocked up into the air. Mouse has found him as well. Dade, he'll have to use it on someone, but he can't. Everyone's dead. EDG looking to try and close out this series. V, sorry, is still alive, but he's running the wrong direction with not a lot of health.
It doesn't...
Yeah, the rest of EDG just moving in to finish off the game.
The big thing is the fact that V has the creep wave, so they're forcing Deft to tank up the tower.
Doesn't matter.
They're able to get it, especially because they have the Lamb's Respite, but was a little bit closer to call just because V trying to drag the creep wave.
Most definitely. Well, it is going to be game EDG. Grab it in the end, but it's a 3-game series. A bit of a nail-biter, honestly, based a lot on the fact that Swift was always able to take away the objectives that EDG were looking for, but congratulations to EDG.
It's so strange, too, because if you look at the whole of that series, especially the individual games, EDG had so much